human alive, all 7.8 billion of us, we are on the alcohol spectrum. At one end, okay, you have someone like me. I don't drink, not a single drop. I'm never going to. I'm not triggered by it. I don't crave it. I am on the far left of the spectrum. I'm over here, right? Where alcohol doesn't even whisper anymore. At the other end, okay, this is where the person in society is known as the alcoholic, right? They've lost everything. They've got brown paper bags, vodka for breakfast, pissing themselves on park benches, the grotesque, the extreme, okay? But it is also a mask. It is a cultural decoy that lets the rest of us pretend we're okay.
Here we go again on my own. You don't have to hit rock bottom to have a drinking problem. That is a trap. You're not waking up in a gutter. You're not hiding vodka in your desk drawer. You're not missing work or losing custody of your kids. So you tell yourself everything's okay. But deep down, you know that something is off because you're drinking more than you want to. You're thinking about alcohol more than you want to. And you're using it to cope, to relax, and to numb. And yet, when you think about it, you don't fit into the mold of an alcoholic. So where does that leave you? Right in the middle of the alcohol spectrum, the most misunderstood, gaslit space in the alcohol conversation. Hello, everybody. My name is Davy. I am not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. I am someone who lives a self-led life, alcohol-free as fuck. And I spend every single waking moment of that life helping other people do the same. Like right now, baby. Today is the part of the week where the 1000 Days Sober podcast, the daily podcast that we produce every single day, dives into the real questions behind living a self-led life, alcohol-free as fuck. And today we are dismantling the phrase gray area drinking. What is it? What does it mean to be in the gray area of drinking? Well, first of all, where did the term come from? Well, it came from the former 1000 Days Sober podcast guest, Jolene Park, in a TED talk she did, I think in 2017, where she used the term gray area drinking to describe the space between being what we know as rock bottom and every now and then drinking, right? And it gained a lot of traction. And the reason it did is it points to a truth that most of us really struggle to name, that in-between space where drinking doesn't look destructive, but it is still quietly destroying us. Now, if you're in the UK and you're drinking more than 14 units a week, which is roughly 6 pints of beer or a bottle and a half of wine, you've stepped into that gray area drinking zone. In the US, the NIAAA defines risky drinking as more than 14 drinks per week for men and 7 for women, right? Now, when you're drinking like this, invariably, you're not going to be on the streets, right? You're not going to be homeless. You're not going to be decrepit and all that kind of thing. But your sleep is likely to be trash. Your anxiety is going to be up. Your joy is going to be fading. And alcohol is always going to be in the room, right? That is the zone. Functional from the outside, fractured from the inside. And at Strive, we don't use the term gray area drinking. We use something, what I think is much more powerful, and that is this framework of the alcohol spectrum. I'm going to get into it today, right? Every human alive, all 7.8 billion of us, we are on the alcohol spectrum. At one end, okay, you have someone like me. I don't drink, not a single drop. I'm never going to. I'm not triggered by it. I don't crave it. I am on the far left of the spectrum. I'm over here, right? Where alcohol doesn't even whisper anymore. At the other end, okay, this is where the person in society is known as the alcoholic, right? They've lost everything. They've got brown paper bags, vodka for breakfast, pissing themselves on park benches, the grotesque, the extreme, okay? But it is also a mask. It is a cultural decoy that lets the rest of us pretend we're okay. Why? Because we are absolutely obsessed with polarities. Society only acknowledges two camps, the normies and the addicts. And if you don't fit into either, you just disappear into the fog. You become invisible. And invisibility is what some of your parts need because it helps to breed denial. Okay. When I lived in Ogmore Vale and I first decided to become alcohol free as fuck, I didn't have a term to describe my problem. I was drinking every day. It was the glue that was holding my life together, but I didn't want to name it. So I Googled, searched, all that kind of thing. And the thing that I came up with was I must be an alcoholic. So I started to tell people I'm an alcoholic. I started to write about it. I'm an alcoholic. I started a podcast talking about me being an alcoholic. And guess what happened? Everyone around me, everyone who loved me, everybody in my tribe said, no, Lee, you're not an alcoholic, right? Why? Because they were drinking the same as me or more. So they were unknowingly trying to gaslight me back into the liquid lie. That is the danger of the gray zone, right? This gray area drinking, this middle part of the spectrum. If you're not collapsing in public, society is telling you you're fine, but fine is killing people. So here's a question I want you to ponder as we go into a little break. If you're not an alcoholic, but you're not fine either, what the fuck are you? Have a think about that and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the 1000 Days Sober podcast, where today we are blowing up the gray area and replacing it with something far more honest and structured and stable, the alcohol spectrum. Because you do not need to hit rock bottom to make a change. All you need to know is this: you're on the spectrum. Everyone is, right? Have some compassion with yourself about this. Like, everybody from the moment they are born is designed by the liquid lie to drink alcohol and to be hooked on it. It's just what degree are you hooked on it, right? Where are you on that spectrum of being hooked? How close are you to the peace, joy, clarity, freedom angle, where I am at the left-hand side, right? Or how close are you to the disheveled alcoholic who is pissing his pants on the street corner on the right-hand side? And it really depends on your relationship with alcohol. It's not about how many drinks you had last week. It's about how you feel when you drink and how you feel when you don't, okay? It's about what you sacrifice: time, integrity, energy, presence, joy, sleep, connection. You can be a once-a-week drinker and still be shackled to shame. True story. I had a striver once who took the STRIVE method and they only drank 3 times a year. She was a beautiful woman called Louise from Australia. That was enough. 3 times a year. At the beginning, it blew my mind. I'm like, what are you doing here? This is not the place for you. You only drink 3 times a year. That's okay, right? It wasn't okay for her, right? Because it severed her connection to self and she knew it. She understood it. That is the power of the alcohol spectrum. It's not binary. It's fluid. It's reflective. It is honest, right? It permits you to act before things fall apart. And if you feel off, that's enough. You don't need to identify with a label. You don't need to wait until the world calls it a problem. You just need to do one thing: take the decision to be done. Done with the fog, done with the hiding, done with the lie. Because the alcohol spectrum doesn't care what society calls you. It only cares that you're free. Today's daily vow. Today, I will not drink, motherfucker, because I am done lying to myself that not that bad is good enough. I am on the alcohol spectrum, and today I am moving left, closer to clarity, closer to integrity, closer to self. Some reflective questions for you to think about today. Where are you on the alcohol spectrum right now? How far left, closer to me? How far right, closer to the alcoholic are you? How often do you lie to yourself that things are fine? And what would it feel like to be done? Pause this episode, share your answers on social media, tag at LeeDavyCoaching using the hashtag STRIVE Method. If this episode slapped you awake, let it ripple. Rate and review the 1000 Days Sober podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening to, so others who are caught in the gray area of this zone can find their way home. All right. Subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And if you want to learn more about concepts like the alcohol spectrum, which is part of our STRIVE Method 6-month workshop to help you to become alcohol-free as fuck and live a self-led life, get over to www.thestrivemethod.com and join the waiting list. Or just email me at thestrivemethod@gmail.com and say, Lee, tell me more about this, right? Until tomorrow, much love. Remember, you do not have to drink today. Take the vow. Very, very powerful. Just for today, don't drink, all right? Much love and strive on.